and under fire since an 0-4 preseason, survived the scrutiny of his boss Al Davis and his commitment to excellence. And when will the injured players that once triggered the vaunted Raiders defense return? These factors combine in an unsettled, smoggy state. But in the NFL, change is a constant.
Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Raiders.
The famed Coliseum in Los Angeles on a sunny Sunday. This was the scene at the end of 1988 when the Seattle Seahawks outscored the Raiders 43-37 and won their first AFC Western title into the playoffs and knocked the Raiders out of the playoff picture. Hello, everyone. Dick ENBERG with Bill Walsh. There are a lot of questions to be answered this season, but you don't want to go 1-3. One question on defense, Bill, has already been replied to. Jerry Robinson, the middle linebacker for the Raiders, is healthy enough to start today.
Well, Jerry will start and play his first game of the year, Dick. His first time out. Scott Davis is back. On offense, Wisniewski, Mosbar, they're back. But to be honest with you, they really look about a week away. They're not quite there. That may indicate that the Raiders are just a little bit desperate.
Don't want to go 1-3 out of the break. And, of course, Seattle felt the, well, they didn't call it a crisis, but Dave Craig said almost that feeling. The Raiders will kick it to Seattle to start this game. The crowd may reach around 40,000. Understandably, with all the talk about the Raiders not staying in Los Angeles, tough to feel a commitment if you're a local fan. Chuck Knox, 11 times in 16 years, and 5 of those years was right here in the Coliseum in Los Angeles as the headmaster of the Los Angeles Rams. That was his first NFL head coaching job. Mike Shanahan, youngest by far of the NFL head coaches, and the more you visit with this man and you hear how he talks and how he's holding up under all the publicity that surrounds perhaps his demise as the leader here, you have to admire him. We'll talk more later as Jeff Jager from the University of Washington sails it deep just as he did last week against Denver, right through the end zone. Touchback for Seattle. Here comes Dave Craig, the free agent out of Milton, Wisconsin. Clyde Warner and Tyler go out, and Tommy Kane and Paul Scansey from the University of Washington come in. Clark in motion, and Craig gives to Warner, tripped up short of the line of scrimmage. Knifing in was Greg Townsend, number 93 of the Raiders, and here's how they line up. Wise, Golick, and Davis, the front three. King, Robinson, Benson, and Townsend are the linebackers for the Raiders. When they go to their nickel, Golick, King, and Robinson leave, and the set will look this way. Paquel comes in, 4 down linemen, Haynes and Eddie Anderson, 2 extra defensive backs, and these are the constants: McDaniel, Washington, Lee, and McElroy, the back 4. Second and 10.5. John L. working hard to gain 2 or 3 before he's ridden out of bounds. A swarm of Raider tacklers.
Well, so far, Greg Townsend's come up the field twice and really cut the play off. It looked as though coming into this thing that they'd want to cut down Townsend because he's been sort of lethargic throughout this early year, being a little bit overweight. But he's come back in 2 plays, penetrated, cut down the blocking, and destroyed the plays.
Ball just across the 22, so it's 3rd down and a short 8. Craig from the shotgun first time. 9-man front for the Raiders. Wide open. Blades at the 40. He's at the 50. Did he step out of bounds? If he didn't, he might go all the way. No, he did step out of bounds. Back in midfield, Brian Blades. A big gainer for the Seahawks, 31 yards.
Well, Dave Craig says Blades is his best receiver. He's got all the tools. It'll just take some experience. Automatically, Seattle's going to go to 4 receivers on 3rd down. And they have it. It's really a science. Now, Blades is going to go in motion and cut across the field right here, and he's going to lose his defender. And they have a great break up the sideline. Plus that, Craig had the pass protection he needed that time. The Raiders are concerned about pass protection. A completely broken coverage. Now Blades uses his ability. He wants to stay in bounds, just touches the edge of it.
First down at the Raider 46-yard line. Passing on first down out to Williams. What a play made defensively by Thomas Benson. He knocked Warner, the blocker, down and got to Williams for a loss. Big play by Benson, a Plan B free agent picked by the Raiders.
Well, Benson's the best, other than Golick, of the Plan B. They like him. In talking with him, he feels the Raider mystique really hasn't been there as he arrives, but they have to learn to win again. And he may be one of those people that can get him those wins again.
Drafted by Atlanta in the second round, played at San Diego, New England before the Raiders. We asked him about what's it like to be around the NFL, 4 different teams. He said, hey, just like meeting the guys in the park on Sunday. You know, they don't have to have numbers, you just play. Second and 13. Craig going long, and he has his tight end, Tyler. It's incomplete. Lyndon King, the linebacker, back on the coverage.
Benson blitzed and made it a little tough on Craig. Made it a little tough right up inside John L. Williams. Great block. Now this is really a tough pass. The tight end to the corner, you have to throw over a linebacker to make the play. Very difficult.
Veteran King at 34 is showing he still has the speed to stay with that tight end.
Take a look at this one, Dick. Look at John L. make a beautiful block. He's one of the great all-around football players in the league.
Third down and long, 13 to go. Craig underneath to Clark, hit immediately by Eddie Anderson. A short gain, and the Seahawks will have to give up the ball.
Playoff standards.
Saw the former Seahawk, Bobby Joe Edmonds, back at the 10-yard line. Ruben Rodriguez to punt. Left footer. Fair catch at the 12-yard line. So the Raiders have the ball for the first time, and we have a timeout. Less than 3 minutes have been played. No offense, Graves, who was nailed with 3 consecutive holding calls at Denver in the second half last week. Giesick, Mospar, and Wisniewski are back, did not play last week against the Broncos, and Wilkerson completes the offensive 5 in front of Jay Schrader, Steve Smith, the fullback, Marcus Allen, who did not report until the end of training camp, Willie Gauld and Mervin Fernandez, the wide receivers, Mike Dial, the tight end. Allen and Dial go out when they go into their pass offense, and Mueller and Alexander come in. They'll start from the 12-yard line with Jay Schrader, who played here at UCLA. Marcus Allen, former Southern California Trojan, out to the 15, a gain of 3. Does it surprise you a bit, Bill Walsh, that Allen goes out and the passing situations?
Well, Allen's their best receiver hands-wise, and as a back, he's one of the best backfield receivers in the game today, but he's not in the shape or condition that they want him in. He held out, didn't have any camp. No matter how hard you work in the offseason, it's not going to be the same. So in this game in particular, they're going to rest him on third down.
All-time leading rusher for the Raiders, Allen. A great player, and he's got other concerns. Will he even be here at the end of the season? Allen knocked down after a yard gain, and flags go flying. Jeff Bryant made the tackle as he penetrated well from his defensive end position, and it's holding apparently against Los Angeles. Well, he started to give the call to Dick Jorgensen.
I hope it's not on Graves, Dick.
If it's the left tackle, that's Graves, number 60. Jacob Green, number 79, talks it over. It'll either be a third and about 7, or they'll take half the distance. Here's the announcement, apparently.
Well, Graves, I think, is guilty again, Dick. That's 4 holding penalties in about one quarter of football, and he's a good guy. We sat and visited with him after one of the practices. He outlined.
Multiple foul on the offense. Holding number 60, offense decline. Holding number 35, offense decline.
Well, that's a tag team.
Well, Graves again at left tackle is going to reach out and hold, and he's going to pull his man to the ground. He's got a veteran player in front of him. He just pulls him to the ground, and of course both of them make the stop, Graves and Bryant. But Graves knows what his problem is. He's somewhat in.
Mike Alexander during practice this week, because Rufus Porter, a small linebacker with a lot of speed, will be lined up across from him much of today. And that is Alexander on offense for the Raiders in motion on 3rd and 7. Incomplete, intended for Alexander. Paul Moyer was there for Seattle.
Moyer came out of that middle in that nickel defense, and he had a beat on that ball. Pass protection.
Boy, no huddle and a quick conversion by the Raiders to get their punting team on, and Gossett sails one, dropped by James Jefferson, and it appears he covered it himself at the 48 of the Seahawks. James Jefferson.
The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Seahawks have possession for the second time, just shy of the 50-yard line. John L. Williams tries the left side and carries the pile for about 3.
Well, Jerry Robinson got in on that tackle coming down the line of scrimmage. He's got that great quickness laterally. Of course, that's his first play of the game. You see him meet his blocker going down the line of scrimmage, fighting him off with that leverage. Excellent job. Now, this is the first football he's played since last season. Of course, he's a veteran player. He has to account for it. He has to be in there to help this defense.
Injured his groin the first day of training camp, and he has really been sorely missed, as has Howie Long. Williams again. What a straight arm, but he's knocked out of bounds by Robinson, who goes the other way. That's the talent of Robinson, of being able to traverse the field that way, first right and now left.
With that great speed, he can come down that line of scrimmage and catch just about anybody. And that is really a departure from a week ago when they had Chip in there who couldn't move and was getting untracked late. So Robinson, if he stays healthy, is going to really help this defense, moving laterally, cleaning up on tackles, and taking on sweeps.
Jackie Shipp and Howie Long are the two players not dressed to get to the 45 limit today for Los Angeles. 3rd and 6. Good protection. Good catch. Blades to the 23-yard line. McElroy and McDaniel finally got him down.
Well, he caught Blades on the move. Blades is making contact at the line of scrimmage, then breaking away from it. He's breaking away from the contact, initial contact, and then his quickness is taking care of everything.
Van McElroy is the injured Raider, Bill Walsh, and Blades has come up with a couple of big plays. 31 and now 24 yards.
Well, Blades comes off the line of scrimmage, and this is where the problem is. That contact gives him an extra step on his defender, and then once he gets it, of course, he's gone. Just that little step of quickness does it for him. Now, if McElroy's out, we are looking at a troubled defense for the Raiders.
Let's see if we can pick up the injury to McElroy, number 26, who is holding the back of his leg, his hamstring.
So
appears to get kicked by his teammate in the thigh.
Well, fortunately, it looks like a muscle. Most likely he'll be back. But he is the key to that defense, making stops in the line of scrimmage as a safety man, and then directing the coverages. His experience, his exposure, and his talent have been sort of holding this defense together until everybody gets well.
Just 8 behind the leaders, all-time leaders, Lester Hayes and Willie Brown. First down, Seattle. No score. 9:45 left, opening quarter. From the 23, Kurt Warner. Just inside the 20, brought down by Lyndon King. Let's check the other score. 17-10. Minnesota winner. Buffalo wins big against New England. Green Bay edges Atlanta. 2nd and 6. Inside handoff to Warner, who slashes to the 16. That'll be shy of a first down by about 3. Lyndon King makes another tackle. Let's check the late scores. Rams at San Francisco, a battle of unbeatens. Niners on the board first. San Diego at Phoenix, no score, and the Giants have a field goal lead at Dallas.
Well, it's interesting on Kurt Warner, isn't it, Dick? And speaking with him yesterday at length, he's quite willing to play a solid role, but not the premier role in that backfield anymore. John L. Williams has become the key player, and Kurt's pleased with it. He'll do anything he can to help that team win, and that includes blocking for John L., doing whatever is necessary. He's really a key man leadership-wise with that Seattle Seahawks team.
3rd and 3. Craig has to eat it. Wise made the tackle. Good coverage by the Raiders. Craig was really looking for his third or fourth option, but couldn't find the open man. He had Williams open early. We have a flag down in the secondary, and he's going to get the first down anyway on defensive holding.
Well, he held that ball a little extra long, so something had to have been going on down that field.
So Wise denied a sack, and the most penalized team in the NFL will get.
Number 36, defense, 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, first down.
Cornerback Terry McDaniel, and it's a first down on the penalty at the 13.
Talking to Mike Shanahan before the game, he wanted to make sure we understood they're going to try to hold these Seattle receivers at the line. So what they're going to try to do is hold them at the line of scrimmage and not let them off, and that'll destroy the timing that Seattle has in their pass offense.
McDaniel was right on the jersey of Tommy Kane. First down. Williams. A saving tackle. That was on the way to a touchdown. Eddie Anderson, number 33 from Fort Valley State. 200 pounds and a man who can bench 535 pounds, and he needed that power to bring down Williams, headed for the end zone.
He needed a clean tackle. It was just him with this big, powerful guy. Now watch Williams burst through, taking people apart. Then it takes somebody to grab and hold with his power. You can't meet him shoulder pad to shoulder pad.
Anderson playing for the injured McElroy. 6 yards on the carry, 2nd and 4. Oops, movement. And Craig is hauled down by Scott Davis. It appeared there was a whistle before the snap. The left side of the line for Seattle moved early. Motion against.
I think the tight end Tyler moved. Yeah, that cost Seattle in 2 ways.
Illegal motion. Number 87, offense, decline, third down.
So it was not an interior lineman, otherwise there'd been no play, but the tight end. So
tight
the play
end's going
goes
to move.
on.
Now the Raiders are jumping around, almost offside, and that forces Tyler to, in a sense, jump with them. You see it there. Now that cost Seattle in 2 ways. They had a bootleg. It very well may have worked, but now they've used the bootleg. They can't come back to it. That time Davis spotted it finally. So they've lost a key play that they'd like to have used, plus the yardage.
And the down. So now it's 3rd and 11. 4 wide receivers. Down the middle. Touchdown Williams. John L. He'll make you well. This player out of the University of Florida, John L. Williams, is growing as an NFL star.
Williams versus Benson, man to man, all the way through.
Norm Johnson's try for point down the middle, and Seattle leads 7-0. Down conversions, 1 a penalty help, 51 yards in 8 plays, and Johnson kicks it to Bobby Joe Edmonds at the 5. And he's dropped rudely at the 22-yard line. Let's go back to the 14-yard touchdown pass.
Move his feet, but he got flat-footed and it was all over.
Dave Craig, who had 9 touchdown passes last year in 2 games, gets one in the first quarter today. Schrader play action, looking deep. Goes to the far sideline, incomplete. Intended to Mervin Fernandez. Let's look at the Seahawk defense. Harper, Hunter, Glasgow, who leads the team in tackles, and Eugene Robinson, who led them last year at safety. Good protection. And a flag down as Dwayne Harper interfered with Willie Gault.
They just bounced off each other down the field. But what really was impressive to me, in a sense, was the Seattle pass rush couldn't get there.
Number 29, defense, first down.
Schrader had at least 4 seconds to throw that ball.
24-yard penalty on Harper.
Just almost incidental contact. Right. See, almost. It's just very, very close. A lot of times some officials in this league wouldn't call that. But the ominous part, that Seattle pass rush wasn't there for at least 4 seconds. Schrader had all the time he needed.
And he loves to bomb long, the tradition of the Raiders. Marcus Allen driving across the 50 to the Seahawks 49, a gain of about 5 on first down. Seattle has not generated the pass rush that Knox had 4 or 5 years ago, and just tracking that for you going back to 85.
While they're an aging group, the problem could come up in the 3rd and 4th quarters pass rush, because the same defensive lineman will be in the game. No substitutes.
2nd and 5, and Schrader is knocked down. Going for the bomb, and Alonzo Mitz from Florida, the Warrior, submarining through to get to Jay Schrader for the sack. So right on cue.
Right on cue.
3rd down and long for Schrader, who operates from the shotgun. Something that Al Davis is not particularly fond of. Thinks it a sign of softness to have to shoot from the shotgun. Schrader wide open. He can run. 50 and nailed at the 45, just shy of a first down. That'll bring up 4th and 1. Nesby Glasgow came up to make the hit.
Well, everybody went by Jay that time. Everybody's so intent to get there, they went right past him. One of those 2 inside people are going to have to anchor that line and come off to pick up a rushing quarterback. Mitch that time in particular had a big play the play before, and he thought he could get away with it again.
Gossett, an excellent athlete, back to punch James Jefferson, former Canadian player. Very short. And Stephon Adams downs the ball. He touched it at the 19-yard line. Al Davis, who at 33 was the coach of these Raiders. Welcome back to the Coliseum in Los Angeles on a sunny day. Van McElroy, he and his dad have always used Sundays in the last few years as working day, but that hamstring is tightly wrapped, and the word is that he probably won't play today. His dad has already put in his early morning sermons. Reverend Ted in Knippa, Texas, Church of Christ, where he has been the minister, a town of some 300 for more than 50 years. Reverend Ted started at the age of 15 preaching.
Well, Van's the pastor of this team when it comes to direction and spiritual development.
There's John L. Williams, another reception. He's out to the 26-yard line, a gain of 7. Lionel Washington, who had an interception touchdown against Denver, made the tackle. There's John L. Williams, and part of that Florida legacy, 4 #1 draft picks at the University of Florida, all on the same team there at the same time with the Gators.
And John is the complete player at this time. You could probably name 5 or 6 backs in the NFL that are complete backs. Roger Craig, Marcus Allen, John L. Williams, a great blocker coming out of college. People just wanted him for his blocking ability, but now he's developed into pass receptions, excellent receiver, fine runner.
Oh, he takes a lick there and stays on his feet. Tom Benson shooting the gap and met Williams just as he took the handoff.
Well,
you saw
Benson,
Mike Shanahan, excuse me, Bill, and he's part of the John L. Williams story, isn't he?
Well, he recruited John L. out of high school. They got so close, became so close as a tutor, as a friend, and as a coach, that they remain so to this day. John L. deciding on an agent to represent him. John L. deciding on how to deal with professional football. All of these things occurred after Mike Shanahan had left and was at Denver. So there's a real good indicator of why Al Davis hired Mike Shanahan. Mike has character, he believes in people, he's sensitive, and people, I guess, it sure appears they have respect for him.
3rd down pass is complete to Blades again, and Brian Blades having a field day in this first quarter. Terry McDaniel gets him out of bounds, but not until Seattle picks up another first down at the 32.
You know, Blades is developing into one of the better receivers in the field. Again, the Raiders are going to knock you apart right at that line of scrimmage, but this shows a lot of perseverance coming right to the outside and getting that ball.
And a good throw by Craig, right
really,
where it had to be.
Dick, Craig is really at his best. 10 years, he told us, these should be the vintage years.
And like so many veterans, all I want is that ring. And he was looking at you with great admiration at the time. Kurt Warner, and they strip it out wide, and he can't turn the corner. Zepp Lee, number 40, was the last man there to make sure that Warner didn't gain any yardage.
The Raiders came to play, I'll guarantee you that. There's still a lot to these Raiders. There's a lot of that tradition. Al Davis preaches that tradition. People believe it, and this is a good demonstration. You've got everybody on the ball. Look at Zeph Lee. Helmet or no helmet, they're going to make something happen.
Brian Millard threw the block that knocked the helmet right off Lee, but you saw the good job Lyndon King, 52, did, occupying the two blockers and wouldn't let them get around him. Loss on the play of about a half yard. Good protection. Lots of room. 30, 40. And sliding with a first down at the 45, and Millard threw another great block on that play. Did he ever take care of Bob Golick?
There was no one to contain the play to the right, normally where the quarterback goes. Benson blitzed up inside. He was easily picked up, and from that point on, there was no one to the outside. So there was all this room to move. Here goes Dave Craig coming out here. A big hole in the defense.
And there's the block just out of your picture by Millard. And Craig on the scramble, a first down at the 45. 1:21 left in this first quarter. Seattle marching with a 7-0 lead. Reverse, and then a flea flicker. Craig over to Clark. Clark tackled by Golick for a big loss. Golick was messing that thing up from the start.
A little bit of everything. Showed how resourceful Craig is. Showed how the defense played by the Raiders was really in sync from the standpoint of responsibilities. And then a Golick who just is irresistible, irrepressible. Look at this guy.
Takes on Millard, who had blocked him on the last play.
Quit. Through two blockers, keeping his head up and finding the ball. So often defensive linemen will play physically like Bob Golick, but they'll take their eye off the ball and lose it.
Well, he'd be a nice guy to take with you on those post-Christmas sales they have. Let him get through the lines.
He could give you a hand. He could carry out whatever you needed also.
Craig down the middle, open is a tight end, Tyler. And a first down at the Raider 40-yard line where Anderson makes the tackle.
Well, Benson was closest. I'm not sure he had the coverage, but he was the closest.
A flag is down in the Seattle backfield. It's against the Raiders. There's Tyler, the tight end from South Carolina State, an 8th-round pick last year by Seattle. 6'5" and 259. He's almost as big as that Orson Mobley at Denver.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 90, defense, back on 15 yards, first down.
Mike Wise, and that'll be another 15 for Seattle.
Timer, reset the clock at 15 seconds. Reset the clock at 15 seconds.
Oh, Mike. Mike Wise.
That's a mental error.
Cal Davis graduate. What's happened to him?
But he came about 3.5 steps away to put his helmet on Craig's, and it cost the Raiders 15. They're down 7-0. End of the first quarter here in Los Angeles, and Chuck Knox's Seattle Seahawks leading 7-0 and have the ball after the penalty on Mike Wise at the 24 as we begin the second 15-minute period. And it's John L. Williams. Make that Kurt Warner skipping through to the 20 and on to the 18.
Well, Kurt took that about 3 extra yards down underneath everything.
Other scores on our ticker. Late games. Battle of field goals. The Niners lead 6-3. No score in Phoenix yet. Final, Cincinnati beats Kansas City coming from behind. Turk Schoenert started that game injured early. They didn't want to play Boomer Esiason. He came out through a couple of touchdowns.
The Raider linebackers inside are going to have to get into those plays tougher and quicker.
Warner again unable to cut back, and Lyndon King, who had his first ever NFL touchdown last week in Denver on a fumble recovery. 12 years in the league. He was selling protective paint for anything you can paint, a ship or a harbor or your car, whatever, there in Honolulu. In his new career when they called him and re-signed him just a week and a half ago.
Well, you know, he embarrassed me when we visited because he reminded me of what often you do. Just about the time he was going to be released, when he was playing an exhibition game, they would say, don't worry about that mistake. No harm done. As soon as he heard that, he knew his days were limited.
Craig on third down, scrambling, and gets a first down and more to the 13-yard line. And the Seahawks, and to the delight of Chuck Knox inside.
So probably throughout this day, you'll see Dave Craig make a first down that'll be critical in a passing situation.
Fumble, and Craig falls on the mistake at the 14-yard line. Mike Wise there for Mike Shanahan's Raiders.
Well, Dave Adolph, the coordinator of the Raiders, defensive coordinator, has his work cut out for him because he's just now getting people healthy, just now getting the entire group together. They haven't played as a unit that much. Now the loss of Van McElroy, even in this ball game alone, is going to hurt them. So my feeling is the Raiders, halfway through the year, if they can be 4-4, they can still win their division in the second half of the season.
On second down, Craig into the flat. And it's Blades again to the 4-yard line. That'll be shy of a first down, but a good pickup. Terry McDaniel made the stop. Blades' 4th catch of this first half. How about 4-4 for Seattle? Is that going to be good enough for them to get in the playoffs?
Well, I think the Raiders have got an explanation for 4-4 related to their people injured and getting together. Seattle now had a number of holdouts, but Seattle's going to have to win on emotion. As you know,
loss at Cleveland gives hope to those behind, the Raiders in Seattle in particular today. 3rd down and 2. John L. Williams. Nothing there. Mike Wise was the first man to make the hit with Lyndon King backing up.
Well, that was team defense. Wise does play football. He is really one of those relentless, hard-hitting players. Fair to good ability, but just relentless. The same with Piquel. 2 big, anxious guys that want to play the game, but they most likely don't have the quickness to give you a great defense.
Norm Johnson has been used infrequently thus far. 2 out of 3. His career long is 54 yards. This one just a little chip shot that'll come from the 14, a 24-yard attempt.
No, this is the best defense the Raiders have played this year as far as I'm concerned.
Block. Mike Haynes comes out of the pile with the ball as the Raiders snuff a apparent easy 3-pointer. Let's see if Haynes is the man who blocked it.
Just a jump in the air. That simple.
So instead of a 10-0 lead, Mike Shanahan's team gets a moral lift by that one. The man who blocked the field goal, Tim Rother. He's now playing in the offensive line, but he was a defensive tackle at Nebraska, old Big 8. He got a big hand on it. We'll show it to you right after this play. Marcus Allen to the 27-yard line and a first down. 14 for Marcus. Let's go back to Tim Rother.
Well, Tim is located right here. He doesn't really do much, but he just jumps up and blocks a field goal. It must be the angle of the kick, because really there wasn't much penetration. You see Tim just put his hand up and tip that ball. The ball was kicked so flat trajectory-wise that it was going to be blocked by a lineman. Tim got it.
Yeah, that big height, 6'7", he's like a goaltender. That was a big play with all the momentum going for Seattle. And the Raiders stopping them inside the 10 and then denying the short field goal. And then Allen comes out on a first down run of 14. Marcus again. He's got some blockers out there. And he has 13 more before a flag goes down. Eugene Robinson running him out of bounds.
Clearly out of bounds. Eugene just pushed him, but it was clearly out of bounds. It was going to be called. But Marcus, what a player, huh, Dick? From all the way through grade school, high school, USC, University of Southern California.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, 41 defense, 15 yards.
2 runs by Marcus plus 15 more on this.
There's the push, completely out of bounds.
He tried to grab his jersey, did Robinson, to hold him up as well.
It didn't look like he tried to damage him or hurt him, but he did make that contact, and they're going to have to call it when they see it, because so many of those aren't that way. So many of them, they are trying to damage the other guy.
Seahawks have a first down at the Seattle 45, trailing 7-0. 9:47 left in the second quarter. Schrader to Mervin Fernandez. That's close to another first down at the 35.
And that was well executed. That showed the strength of Schrader's arm. He just drilled that ball on a line about 35 yards just to get a short completion. But he gets it there before the defenders can respond.
And they will measure. While they do, let's go back to Marcus Allen. We talked about here's a man whose sensitivity runs deep. You know, this is, I don't mean to be corny at all. I want to hit it right on the top of the head. There are heroes in sports, and we as parents can look to role models, and here's one of them. Marcus Allen is an all-American guy, and yet being a nice guy has almost hurt his career because he volunteered when Bo Jackson arrived to play fullback.
He volunteered to play the position, and weighing 205 pounds, even more difficult, being 6'2". So he's not a blocker, he's not the blocking type, but he volunteered to play fullback so that Bo could come in and be an effective ball carrier. And I think Marcus is having trouble with it now because unquestionably it'll shorten his career, and unquestionably he's not going to be the premier player on the team, and not only on the field but from a standpoint of the impact he has on the other players, leadership, and the way he works at it. So you're taking Marcus out of that premier role, inserting Bo Jackson in it. The chemistry will be different. Who knows how it'll turn out?
Jackson arrives 2 weeks from now. Steve Smith gets his call, a rare one, and he's down to the 31-yard line. His first call. There's 2 more weeks before the trading deadline, and we asked Marcus, would you be willing to be traded?
Well, he said he'd be willing to trade. I think he mentioned that or stated that directly to Mike Shanahan when he returned from his holdout. If you choose to trade me, I'll go. I'll go willingly without any hard feelings. But to be honest with you, a Southern California guy, he played his entire career here in the Coliseum. I'm sure he wants to be a Raider. But he wants to be a Raider as a premier football player, not as an alternate or a backup.
He doesn't want to be second banana. He feels he's still a legitimate star. Fernandez fumbles. It goes out of bounds to Los Angeles. Good hit made by Dwayne Harper and Rufus Porter, but the ball stays in the possession of the Raiders.
I think Marcus is tradable, but to be honest with you, Dick, as I've seen it historically, his salary is very, very high. He's toward the end of his career. The only way I think a trade is viable is if someone lost a Roger Craig or an Eric Dickerson, and they needed that great runner in their backfield to sustain themselves, and they had a chance to win it all or win their division. And if that situation came up, Marcus is tradable, but I can't believe they'd ever trade him because of the value he has, not only to the team, but to the rest of the players on and off the field.
He is the leader offensively of the Raiders. Schrader batted down at the line of scrimmage. A good play made by Jeff Bryant, the veteran defensive end. And that means that the Raider drive stalls and Jeff Gossett comes on the field with the punting team.
Now, Schrader's passes have a low trajectory. Remember last week, Atwater just reached up and intercepted one for Denver, and here's the same kind of thing. Jay hasn't played that much football. He doesn't sense very well what's happening right in front of him. He doesn't sense it. Consequently, the batted pass, that quick short interception as occurred against Denver.
Now they're going to go with Jeff Jager in a 45-yard field goal attempt. And that's got plenty of distance. Boy, that would have been good from 55 easily. Jager nails it, and the Raiders on the board. It's 7-3. Jager kicks it off, and it comes down to David Hollis, just activated by Seattle. And he is swarmed on at the 15-yard line.
Those Raiders special teams this year have been great. They really have. They are really covering ground.
Well, a lot of that is to be the credit of the new kicker, Jeff Jager. He hits the ball long, hits it high, in much the same manner that Norm Johnson has given Seattle such good special teams coverage with the Seahawks.
That so-called hang time makes a difference, but on the other hand, you see the old Raider intensity here and there. You saw it in the special teams kick coverage, things of that nature. So you know it's right under the surface. If they can hang in there through this early season, you're going to see it demonstrate itself as the season progresses. Again, if they're 4-4 halfway mark, they can still win their division.
8.5 minutes to go, first half. Craig to Kurt Warner. Out of bounds at the 21, a gain of 5. Looking ahead to next week, we hope you'll join NBC Sports. Feels he's a leader, and you have every indication he is in control of everything within his reach, but not necessarily what's above him. John L. Williams to the 25. And I think the dispute, and we had a wonderful experience, not only talking with Shanahan, but about an hour in the office of Al Davis a couple of days ago. His all white and black, silver and black office, and he himself all in white with a shiny black patent leather shoes. Here are two men who love the game, but are not necessarily philosophically together.
I'm not sure that's true. The Raider formula has worked as well or better than any formula in professional sports. Any formula that's been in existence. When you look at John Madden, John Rouse, John Madden, Tom Flores, these were all winners.
On 3rd and 1, John L. I'm not sure he made it. Gary Robinson and others in on the tackle. This might be close enough for a measurement.
Well, he has ideas, and he's going to present those ideas. But his ideas come from knowledge and expertise. He's well informed. He studies, he researches. Up in the box, when I was with the Raiders, occasionally there'd be a note. Hopefully, I'd have thought of the same thing before I got the note. But one way or the other, you listen to it. He doesn't say anything about it after the game, but there are ideas he'll have during the game. To me, that makes sense.
Well, they've been Super Bowl since for the Raiders. The first down made by Seattle. And here's Warner. Breaking out for another 10 or 11 yards against a team that has not stopped the rush thus far in 1989. The Raider defense last in the NFL. McDaniel finally stopped Kurt Warner.
Well, they give up more yards each year, as you know, Dick. Each year, they've lost their great players.
You know, there's what's happened since '85. 100 yards allowed rushing per game is a solid defense, and they stayed there for 3. And then last year, 138, 4.1 average, and this year the average 4.6.
It's the absence of great players is what it is.
Howie Long is perhaps the top name on that list. Craig on first down. Incomplete to Kurt Warner. He did not have control. He was juggling it. This is last week in Denver, and you see doodling Al Davis, and what is he doing there?
Well, I think part of it's doodling, and part of it's looking at what he's seeing down on the field, and part of it's saying, I wish the heck we had that play in our offense, because this would work. So I think a lot of it is just basic doodling and thinking about the game.
Just win, baby. You know, he does boil it down. His philosophy is simple. Ultimately, that's all he wants. And you can have conflicts or misunderstandings or whatever, but you better win. John L. Williams, is that a fumble? If it is, it's a Raider touchdown. Lionel Washington. Who had a touchdown with an interception last week and almost had a fumble recovery for another. His own man knocked him down. Gets 37 yards and the score. I'm sure the instant replay officials are double checking that last play to see if indeed that was a fumble.
Well, it was about as close as it can get related to a real reception.
Review by replay, the play stands. Touchdown.
Oh, he's got it.
And then Hundley just signed this week. Former #1 pick of Cincinnati, traded to Denver, then to Phoenix, and cut loose this year. And Hundley finds a home, and he produces. Try for point by Jager, and it's hits the upright. No good. Yes, it is. It caromed through. And what an angle it caromed through. The ball is just beyond the end line of the end zone. He hits the left upright, and that was one of the great billiard shots by Jaeger.
Let's play a lot of 8-ball, I guess.
To get one out of that. 10-7 the score.
Well,
there's the touchdown as Williams tackled by Hundley, and Lionel Washington picks it up, and he knows he's got 6 all the way. Craig, the closest man. And then Jaeger puts a little adventure into the extra point. The young man who grew up in the Seattle area was a Seahawk fan, now kicking for the Raiders. I mean, that was about as tough an angle as you can get and still hit the upright and score a point.
well, Hundley's really helped himself. Now, if he can continue to play and be effective, he may have a home. He's bounced around. You can't figure out what's wrong or what is right with Rick Hundley. He's got great ability, size. He appears to be quite intelligent when you visit with him. But everywhere he's been, there's been a little bit of a change, a little bit of a personality quirk or something. He's gone on his way. Well, the Raiders have a history of taking these kind of people and making them great players or utilizing whatever abilities they have. So I think this will be a real test for Mike Shanahan to see if he can convert Hundley into an effective player who sustains his effectiveness throughout a given year.
It goes to James Jefferson. And Stephon Adams and others get him out of bounds at the 29-yard line. First down, Seattle. So the Seahawks seemingly in control, leading 7-0 inside the 10. Our stop, go for an easy field goal. It's blocked. And now the Raiders have come back defensively, and Hundley gets them a touchdown with that tackle as he frees the ball from John L. Williams, and his teammate Lionel Washington scores. Hundley happy to be back, and so is his wife, who is a lawyer and was studying for the Arizona bars, a California lawyer. He says now she's back home, doesn't have to go through that ordeal, and in fact lives just 20 miles from the El Segundo training camp of the Raiders.
Well, now it's up to Rick to stay here. We don't want to have her now go to Utah or somewhere. So he's going to have to make it here if they want to enjoy this Southern California climate.
Draw play to Warner, and he squeezes just a couple out of that play as Bill Pickel, veteran from Rutgers, number 71, makes the stop. A reminder to our viewers, we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player in today's game. That will be announced at the conclusion of our contest here in the Coliseum.
Well, Seattle plays on emotion. They play on field position. This is all as we visited with Chuck Knox last night before the game. They want to win on field position. They don't want to give up the bomb. But as far as offense is concerned, they want to make first downs. David Craig's able to do it, but now there's a little bit of pressure on the Raider defense is ready to play at this point.
Warner with a flag down, gets a couple more on the draw. And we'll check the penalty thrown by the umpire. That usually means, yep, offensive holding. See whether they take the penalty. Not much of a gain by Warner. Yep, they will, says Shanahan. So things have reversed here. It's now the Raiders.
Holding number 65, offense, 10 yards, still second down.
Veteran Edwin Daly, the left guard. Let's check other scores. The Rams now taking the lead at Candlestick in the second. Still no score in Phoenix. Giants lead Dallas by 4. Those the late games. No unbeaten teams, only 4 weeks into the season, and in the AFC, not a single undefeated team as Cleveland lost in the final seconds, or rather Denver lost in the final seconds to Cleveland.
They have 12 men on the field. The Raiders had 12 men out there, I believe.
Greg Townsend has a sack, maybe.
Timeout was called by the Raiders before the snap. Number 36 called timeout.
So the Raiders recognizing that they had too many men on the field, call time.
Well, you'll count a lot of people out there. 12 people. And the Raiders figured it out. It was in their secondary. They had an extra man, whether they use either one of their defensive packages, or they'll have 6 or 7 defensive backs in the game. That's the one that makes Dave Adolph just anxious. He knows it's going to be spotted.
Well,
he can't get him off the field.
How does that happen, Bill?
Well, it's each player is responsible to go in that game. You can't have a coach telling each one of them, now it's your turn. They have to know when they hear the call hawk or eagle or whatever it is to get on that field, and they'll most often go to the man they replace, so he sees it coming. And if you look at the
defensive coordinator at Cleveland, earlier at San Diego, very bright, highly respected man. New defensive coordinator here with the Raiders. Craig throws back to John L. Williams, and Tom Benson wasn't fooled. What a play by Benson. Otherwise, that would have been a big yardage effort.
I really didn't think Tom Benson was going to do it for the Raiders when they got him. I really didn't. They knew something I didn't know, because each week he's gotten better. Each week he's gotten better. Now playing alongside Jerry Robinson, I think he's going to really improve, because Jerry's experience will help him.
And when they get Howie Long in there, and Tom Flores, and talking with him and reflecting on his days with the Raiders, said one thing they don't have now that they've always had is a big star in the defensive line. Howie Long's that man, but Long is injured, not in uniform. Third down and plenty. Craig with flags down is dragged down at the 19. Paquel and Wise and Koch.
How do you explain this when a total change in momentum will come up?
Number 75, offense, decline, 4th down.
That's why those statistics sometimes can really be interesting to read, but not reflect directly on how a game's going. At one point, Dick, wasn't it 8 first downs for Seattle, 1 for the Raiders?
At the end of the first quarter.
And Seattle was dominating, and now Seattle's going to have to pull themselves out of this.
Raiders lead 10-7 on a fumble returned by Lionel Washington of 37 yards. Bobby Joe Edmonds, he's been ever so close to breaking a return since joining Los Angeles. He scuffs this one very short. Vance Mueller lets it roll, and it dies right on the Raider 40-yard line. Timeout. 3:27 to go in the first half. The Raiders trying to build on a 3-point lead. And we'll look forward to that matchup in the Hoosier Dome. Bill Walsh and I will be there. Craig and Schrader, the comparison. Schrader throwing only 5 passes thus far. In fact, Seattle has had the ball in the first half 21 minutes. The Raiders 5 minutes. But it's a 10-7 Los Angeles lead. A blocked field goal, and then the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Los Angeles at its 40 with 3.5 minutes remaining in the opening half. Schrader down the middle to Fernandez, incomplete. Good coverage by Dwayne Harper, number 29. A flag is down.
Harper read that beautifully. He's watched the throw. He cut right up underneath Fernandez.
Holding against the Raiders.
You can win all kinds of ways. I remember coaching with the Raiders one year.
Holding, number 60, offense, 10 yards, still 1st down.
Rory Graves, he's going to have that yellow flag bronzed and send it to the Hall of Fame. He's going to retire it.
Well, you know, I coached with the Raiders in 1966, Dick. We played Denver. We made 140 yards of offense. We won the game 28-0. Denver blitzed every play. Tom Flores hit 4 touchdown passes. We wiped them out with only 140 yards of offense.
First down and 20 after the penalty. Schrader on a middle screen to Marcus Allen. 40, 45. Gain of 15 on the play. Tony Woods made the stop. More receptions than any Raider back in history. All-time rusher and Raider history. Marcus Allen, now 29 years of age. His parents are here from San Diego to cheer him. It's a nice story. From high school to USC to the Raiders. They've always been there to watch and support.
He said he's never received a real serious injury, so he believes he can play good football for at least another 3 years. I agree.
Here he comes on the sweep. Boy, he runs hard. 9 more yards for Allen, and a first down at the 46 of Seattle. Eugene Robinson made the tackle as we come up to the 2-minute timeout.
I think he hurt his wrist a little bit. But look at this. Look at the instincts here. And look at him continue his speed. He doesn't slow to make his breaks. That's full stride. Then when he needs to run tough, he puts that 205 pounds down and just uses his pads and his helmet to get the extra yard.
204, 203. Schrader, will he get a playoff? No. 2-minute timeout at the end of the first half with a score. The Raiders 10 and the Seahawks
back. Mickey McCardle, the Music brothers, the Callahan brothers for Southern Cal. Notre Dame won 13-0. From that point on, I was a football player.
Way before my time. So the Raiders, 2 minutes to go in the half, leading Seattle 10-7. Schrader underneath to Marcus Allen. He's a one-man show. Fumbles, and Seattle recovers. Dwayne Harper. David Wyman, 92, made the hit. And Marcus Allen, same fate that hit John L. Williams, trying for too much, and a ball knocked free. Watch Wyman, 92.
Marcus doesn't see him.
Big play, and Chuck Knox talks about a game as consists of 5 big plays, and you want to make good on those 5. Well, the Raiders already have on a fumble return for a touchdown, and now Seattle, with plenty of time, 1:50 left, has a chance to regain the lead. Zip Lee late getting on the field for the Raiders, and a drop ball by Tommy Sugar Kane. Boy, the Raiders were playing with 10 men. Lee didn't get on the field till the ball was snapped.
Well, I think the lack of Van McElroy on this. Here he comes. Here comes Lee trying to get in. I'm not sure he knows what to do. But McElroy's absence means you have to substitute. You really don't have enough people. So Lee's trying to get in to cover on. Here he comes off. His receiver was coming toward him. He actually could have waited on the sideline, and his receiver Craig would have come all the way over to him.
Well, Kane helped him out with a drop. McElroy, just a spectator apparently the rest of the day with that hamstring injury. Shotgun Craig, 2nd and 10. Pressure on, and a fumble. Raiders have it at the 25-yard line. Greg Townsend. He forced the fumble, and Mike Wise recovers.
Well, this is Townsend's best game. Early on, we talked about him penetrating and stopping the run. That speed on his pass rush is what the Raiders really need. Now he's going to come all the way outside, all the way around to make this stop. Right here, and you see Craig was just starting his throwing motion. Now Craig doesn't see him. He's just going to step into the throw. When he has to move, there it is.
And Wise there to collect it at the 24-yard line. 1:39 left in the half.
Looked like Wise made him move, Dick. And that caused the fumble.
Exchanging fumble gifts. The Raiders in Seattle now. Schrader underneath. First down at the 10 to Mervyn Fernandez. They'll have to go the full 10 yards. It's 1st and goal from the 10.
Well, Schrader did a great job looking right, throwing left. So he didn't get any safety movement toward it. Now, if you just watch Schrader looking to his right, now he throws left. Keeps the safeties from responding to the ball.
Fernandez averaging over 23 yards a catch and leads the Raiders with 3 touchdowns in the first 3 games. Up the middle to Marcus. Into a crowd and gets only 3. Darren Como spearheaded the defensive charge, number 53, and a timeout called by the Raiders with 53 seconds remaining in the half. The Raiders trying to build on their emotions in the last 2 minutes. Able to get the ball back, and then losing it on a fumble of the quarterback. And now sees what appeared to be a very promising start for Seattle in a 7-0 lead, and looking as if they might build it 14, at least to 10. And then the Raiders taking advantage. They have the ball, 2nd and goal at the 7. Tough call. What do you call here, Bill?
Take too much time, Dick. Say your phones went out.
Willie Gauld in motion. Play action, and Schrader in incomplete to Fernandez in the end zone. He had gone out of the end zone. Jeff Bryant was the man putting pressure on Schrader. So it's 3rd and goal from the 7.
Jeff really handled that well, Bryant did, because he didn't jump early so Schrader could avoid him and run with the ball. He kept good perspective on him and forced Schrader to hold the ball longer. And then, of course, the ball went out of bounds by the time he threw it.
Bryant, number 77, a member of the Clemson Tiger NCAA champions of '81. Kevin Mack, Terry Kennard, and others on that team. 4 wideouts, and Schrader will spend another timeout with 47 seconds to go. That's the final Raider timeout. Well, at halftime, stay with us. We'll have all the scores and highlights with Bob and OJ, and the Insiders Extra with Bobby Beathard and Ralph Wiley. Enjoy the 2 football minds there at work. They don't
work on the lesser contracts. It's an industry in this day and age.
3rd and goal for the Raiders at the 7. Alexander, the motion man. And it's incomplete and almost intercepted. Patrick Hunter diving in front of the intended receiver, Willie Gault. So the field goal unit on for the Raiders.
This is really a godsend for Seattle to get out of this with 3 points. Another 7 would have made it very difficult, because the Raiders then obviously in the second half could have pass rushed most every down.
Jager, who hit one from 45 yards. This one will be from inside the 15, a 24-yard attempt. It was a 24-yarder for Seattle that was blocked. And this one is blocked. Free ball. And Seattle unable to pick it up and run. Now they do. And it's fumbled again. And Seattle maintains control. That would have been, had the Raiders fallen on it, Seattle had control. The Raiders could have gotten it right back.
Well, we had an unblocked man come right up the middle on that, and we were just so bragging about the Raiders special teams. And we're going to get a unblocked man right here coming right up inside. Apparently, oh, I've got the wrong side. Hold on. We go inside 1 hole further, and obviously the guard didn't block down. The right guard. Take a look right there. Clean, unblocked.
Joe Nash, who has a habit of blocking kicks in his career. He's been outstanding, the veteran from Boston College. It still is. Now, at this point, Seattle has control, and if Eugene Robinson and lateraling the ball, had the Raiders picked it up, they would have regained possession at that point. Boy, that was a risky thing for Robinson to try a lateral. 29 seconds. Craig to Blades, complete, and Seattle will spend a time. Dave Craig, who has misfired on only 3 passes. He's 14 for 17 in this half. 21 seconds remaining. To the sidelines, and he overshoots Paul Scansey out at the 43. Used 6 seconds on that play. His 24-yard attempts are blocked.
Well, in the case of the Raiders, they just blew a very simple responsibility.
Draw play to John L. Williams. He didn't get out of bounds. Yes, now he did. They said his feet went out at the 31, and that would be, well, very close to a first down. 7 seconds showing on the clock. This then probably the final play of the first half for Chuck Knox.
Well, but you just got to play good, solid percentage football.
Triple right. 6 defensive backs for the Raiders, and Craig looking for the bounce. And it's incomplete down at the 32-yard line. Mike Harden, the former Bronco, up over the pile to knock it away. And that is the end of the first half. Both coaches will go to the locker room saying, hey, we can't leave the ball on the ground. You can play it from both sides. We could be so much farther ahead. In this second half, Dave Craig tuning up. He had a good statistical first half, but only 1 touchdown on the board. Let's look at the official statistics. Look at the bottom. Of possession time is the startling statistic. Nearly 22 minutes for the Seahawks and just 8 for the Raiders. Outgained by Seattle 162 to 103 yards. yards rushing, while the Raiders last in the league, a bit better in the first half, 62 yards. Norm Johnson kicks it off, and with a score 10-7, Raiders leading. It's Los Angeles. Bobby Joe Edmonds. Oh, what a hit at the 24-yard line. Alonzo Mitz and Darren Como along with David Hollis. Oh my. Seahawks, that's not good news for Seattle fans. When they have trailed at the half, they've lost the last 18 games, and they trail by 3 coming into the second half today, and Chuck Knox hopes they can break that trend.
Well, those statistics don't mean anything. If Chuck's team's ready, they'll come out and play. I think he's got them ready. They been visiting with them before the game. I think the attitude was great. They're ready to play. They just got to get their composure again.
Said they had a great week of practice. Schrader goes long. Fernandez incomplete at the 25-yard line. Again, what an arm by Schrader. Dwayne Harper, it appeared the ball might have hit Fernandez right on the top of the helmet.
Harper did a great job of coming right up over the top, timing it perfectly. This is something that the Seattle has needed over the years, are fast corners. Harper was able to stay with Fernandez, not be straining, and then use his leaping ability to stop the play. So it was a spectacular defensive play.
Yeah, Harper of South Carolina State at one corner, and Patrick Hunter from Nevada Reno. They're 23, 24 years old, and they feel they have the speed to cover man, and that'll allow them to do better things defensively. Marcus Allen. You could hear that collision at the 28-yard line as he is smothered by Tony Woods, number 57.
Well, I know they've needed Woods. You know, these people that set out cost themselves, and I'll have to admit they cost their teams.
So 3rd and 6 and a shotgun for Schrader. Underneath. It'll be close to a first down to Alexander, the young man from Penn State who caught one for 61 yards last week at Denver, his first NFL catch. The ball spotted and a first down at the 34.5.
The Raiders think that Alexander really can be a receiver of the future. He's got good size. And there's this strength. You see, he's knocking his man right off him. That's that strength. He's 6'3", almost 200 pounds. And an athlete that big, just like a Jerry Rice, can take their man on at the line of scrimmage, and that power will get him a clean release.
First down on his initial catch of the day. Vance Mueller, his first call, and he's to the 42-yard line to match the number on his back. That's a good gain of 7 on first down, and the Raiders in the first half averaged over 7 yards on first down. Seattle's average was just over 2 on first down. You subscribe to that, how important that first down play is?
Oh, sure I do. The key on first down is to mix it up. So many people will test the run every first down and get so cautious about it that they're absolutely predictable. So you can have to throw, I believe, about 50% of the time on first down, but then again, run on second and third down. You've got to keep people off balance.
Second and short, and Marcus Allen has a first down and more as he invades Seattle territory to the 49. Darren Como and Tony Woods with a tackle.
Those tackles are in the stat stick, but they're occurring way down the field. At this point, the Raider tackles are doing an excellent job of controlling the people in front of them. And with that happening, you're going to get a ball carrier able to cut back behind everything. There it is.
See, that was a nice example of how a line has to work in rhythm when they stop the freeze the camera there. All 5 linemen were in the same position, same first step.
And Jacob Green didn't quite fill down that line of scrimmage behind Joe Nash.
Just starting the second half, the Raiders lead 10-7, and Steve Smith, former Nittany Lion, is down to the 45, a gain of nearly 4. David Wyman and Nesby Glasgow made the tackles.
Well, Wyman's having an excellent year. He's developing into a truly fine linebacker. You know, the contrast. Here's Wyman, a Stanford graduate, and Bosworth being real good friends. And as we visited with Dave Wyman, he spoke in glowing terms about Bosworth. On the other hand, Bosworth isn't with the team today. He's not coming to the facility every day. people actually act as though they're not sure where he is. I'm sure he's living in Seattle, but not participating in team meetings or those kinds of things. I think the boss, and speaking of him, Dick, is going to have to learn to become an NFL football player and, in a sense, not necessarily be a great one, a very good linebacker in the NFL, which is obviously a privilege. But he's not going to be a superstar in the league, I don't believe.
Mike Dial, and the Raiders feel this young man from Texas A&I with a catch might develop into an outstanding tight end at a position where the Raiders have always been strong. Gets the first down at the 35. Marcus Allen wheeling, but he can't get outside. Jacob Green, the veteran from Texas A&M, makes the stop. Well, the Boz factor, and don't forget Boz spelled backwards is Zob. 5 and 5 with, and 4 and 2 without.
Boz is a great athlete. He really
no
is.
question.
But he's not. He doesn't have the big ballast to stand in or against guards. He's an active lateral football player, and he can be part of a World Championship team, which a lot of people feel Seattle can get to this year or next. But he won't be the great star. He's not a Dick Butkus.
On 2nd 11, Schrader down the middle. Fernandez. He's going to go in for a touchdown. Talked to Fernandez 2 days ago at camp. We asked him what he did best. He said, it's what I do after I catch the ball.
Well, his size really helped him on this play. Good speed down the field, and when he breaks laterally, watch that big size help him. He's strong, physical, and that's what makes the difference. 6'3", over 200 pounds, and those smaller corners have a tough time dealing with this size man.
Jaeger, who has hit the upright on an extra point and had a field goal block, gets the extra point. Fernandez, acrobatic and almost ballet-like as well on this reception as he breaks the tackle of Hunter and then skips over the backup of Eugene Robinson.
And that's what Schrader can do best, Dick, that big, quick, strong arm.
And Fernandez has his 4th touchdown of the year. We'll be back in Los Angeles after these messages. Now the Raiders open the second half with a very impressive drive. Jaeger kicks to David Hollis, and he's tripped up from behind by Steve Strahan at the 13-yard line.
Looking back at that touchdown, you see almost a perfect play. Excellent pass protection for Schrader. Dial holding people up here, and then Fernandez running his deep in pattern right here. A beautiful shot down the field. Only a guy like Schrader or an Elway with that big arm. Look at that pass protection, drilling that ball, carrying right to the receiver. Then Fernandez's strength did the rest.
Fernandez 4th catch of the game and Schrader's first touchdown pass today. And it's 17-7 Los Angeles. Craig comes out throwing on first down. Has a man wide open, the tight end Tyler. And he spins to the 20-yard line in the grasp of Eddie Anderson.
Well executed by Seattle. Excellent play fake, getting the tight end across the field. Well done. They're going to have to do that kind of thing to pull themselves slowly back into this game. Just the short ball control passing that Craig is so great at.
Yet Craig didn't seem happy. He went to Brian Blades as if Blades did not run the right pattern. Chuck Knox, 57 years of age in his 7th year in Seattle from Sewickley, Pennsylvania. Got to be a tough guy growing up in that part of the world, and he is. On 2nd and 3, Warner breaking into the clear. Almost lost the ball, or he might have gone all the way. He's out to the 42. Jerry Robinson drags him down after 21 yards. For a moment, though, Kurt had to double clutch on the football.
Just about lost the ball, but you're talking about exploding into a hole. Offensive line does a fine job sustaining their block. See, everybody's on a block. Now watch him keep those legs moving. He's done this before. Excellent job running, but the offensive line, for the first time really, for some time during this game, is really sustaining their blocks.
Warner, who leads the Seahawks, 132 yards rushing coming in. That's his longest run of the season, 21 yards. Play action on first down. Craig underneath. Lewis Clark's first grab of the day, and a first down or close to it at the 49. Terry McDaniel.
Drag pattern underneath, the way that seems to be working. They clear out, somebody comes back underneath.
Well, they fake one way, and then the tight end sneaks across the field the other way.
Play action again. Craig wants to go long. Man is covered. He's in the grass. That's a sack at the 42. Greg Townsend.
Well, Craig wanted to throw left to Blades. They thought the play fake would hold a weak safety, but they wanted to throw left to Blades, and Washington did an excellent job of coverage. They stayed right just inside. Now, Dave wants to still throw that ball. Oh, it's too late now. That in the grass rule took effect.
I don't mean to laugh at the predicament of Craig, but in the grasp is an interesting expression, but and I guess was in the control.
Well, Townsend's having the game of the year. He's starting to come around.
His second sack today brings up second down and 20. Craig. Now he throws for Scansey, incomplete. Again, the pass pattern. He was looking for some help upfield, and it wasn't there.
Well, he's looking for Scansey up the field. It's just good coverage all the way around. Now, Scansey sees the coverage inside, so he backs out to the outside. Then when Craig begins to scramble, Scansey works up the field. Now, those are the kind of things you work to orchestrate. They'll pay off on occasion. But I must say that front four of the Raiders is coming up the field. They're penetrating.
Well, Seattle fans can think about Steve Largent on that last play. That's the kind of hookup where Largent would have been in the right place. Good protection to the outside. Incomplete to Scansey. Broken up by Lee. Well, Zeph Lee has had his problems. He's a running back in college. They've made a safety out of him, trying to fill in. Pretty tough job for him. Stacy Turan killed in an auto accident this summer. But now that Mike Harden's here and can spell Lee, they figure he's going to play better, and is.
Well, that was the toughest job Lee would have. On the nickel, they put him in as a corner. He's going to have to cover a wide receiver. So going from a running back spot to covering wide receivers as a corner, that takes a heck of an athlete.
Rodriguez third punt. Bobby Joe at the other end. Boy, does that snapper LaBelle get it back in a hurry. High spiral. Fair catch at the last minute by Edmonds at the 17-yard line, and with it a timeout with 7 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third. The Raiders by 10. They call him the midget, and back in his youth, this man Purcelli said, I'm taking you back to Juniata, and he said he really changed the course of my life, and I love him, and I want him right there on the sidelines with him. He doesn't forget his past. Western Pennsylvania's a Wickley town. In his book Hard Knocks, Chuck talks about his father was an alcoholic, used to beat up on him, and didn't like the idea that he went off to college, a big shot young kid like you, and was on his way home, couldn't handle it, and Purcelli was the man who changed his mind.
Well, that's why Chuck's so beloved by the guys that have played for him all the way through his career. He was a great offensive line coach at Detroit, with the Rams, Buffalo, Seattle. Every player that's been around him has had great respect for what he stands for. He's a tough, demanding guy, but underneath it all, a super sensitive guy.
Schrader. Another first down to Fernandez. His fifth catch today at the 33. A dozen more for Swervin Mervin, who caught nearly 400 passes in 5 years in the Canadian League. And we asked him about coming back to the NFL, played at San Jose State, but 5 years in that big, nice, wide field in Canada. What was it like? He said,
playing in a phone booth.
Here. He said, then they bump and run you too.
I was playing like in a college gymnasium trying to play football.
Schooled at your alma mater, San Jose State. He hopes to go back and continue his education, makes his home up in the Bay Area. Mueller now in the backfield in motion, and Smith gallops for about 15 to the 48-yard line. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, and Mike Shanahan's Raiders with a 17-7 lead and moving the ball effectively.
The Seattle defensive linemen are coming back to that huddle slowly. They're going to have to pick it up. An excellent trap play.
And veteran Vernon Maxwell finally dragging him down. Ethan Horton, 88, the tight end to the left. Fernandez wide left. And Willie Gault split to the right. And the give to Smith again. Gets outside and picks up about 6 more to the Seattle 44-yard line. Well, the other late games in the NFL today, and the big game, of course, up at Candlestick, where into the third quarter, the Rams leading 10-9. The Niners managing only 3 Kofor field goals. Phoenix has a 6-0 lead against the Chargers, and the Giants apparently are going to send Dallas to 0-4.
Dallas is going to have a long year, Dick.
Well, Beathard said on the NFL Live they'd go 0-16. You agree with that?
No, they'll win some games. But
how many?
3, 4. But it's a sobering experience for a very proud coach and owner.
Second and short, Vance Mueller. He doesn't get the first down as he vaults to the 43. Maxwell and Glasgow, 2 former Colts, team up on the stop along with Darren Como. Buffalo and for Seattle, a constant companion. Third and about 1.5 yards. And Schrader goes to the quickie, and is it a fumble or an incomplete pass? Incomplete is the call. Incomplete pass. Nesby Glasgow made the hit.
He got a hit in there. Did they need that play?
Steve Smith couldn't hang on.
Now with Schrader's arm, he can drill it out there, but look at Glasgow, boom, right into the middle of him, and he stripped the ball. Just totally stripped the ball. It wasn't going to be completed.
Well, that is the defensive play on 3rd and 1.5. An apparent punt by Jeff Gossett. James Jefferson back at the 7-yard line. Fair catch. He lets it go, and it kicks into the end zone for the touchback at the 20. 3 minutes and 44 seconds remain. Gossett not happy with that one. Raiders still lead by. And even before the game, fractured elbow. He was out working out here at the Coliseum, as he has been on his own in Seattle while the other players are in meetings. He's out imagining himself still in the game. John L. Williams tripped up on a diving play by Terry McDaniel. Bill Patel secured the tackle. Largely, we talked about heroes, and we have them. Boy, does this guy qualify.
He really does. A lot of people call Steve Largent an overachiever. I really never did understand that, because he has great talent. He has instincts, very quick on his feet, low center of gravity, beautiful timing, very bright. He's truly a prototype of a great football player.
He'll be back in a couple of weeks. He's on the 6-week injured reserve. 1 touchdown catch away from Don Hudson's NFL record of 99. Kurt Warner, as the Coliseum fans go to the wave, is out to the 25, maybe the 26, where it'll be 3rd down and about 4.5. Ricky Hunley in on that tackle.
Well, as of this moment, the the Raider defensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. We've heard that every week when somebody starts to win a football game. But right now, the Seattle offensive line, their tackles and guards, aren't sustaining blocks well enough.
Site of the 1959 World Series, the Coliseum, as baseball's playoffs approach Tuesday night here on NBC. Craig on 3rd and 5 gets the yardage to Williams, and John L. plows across the 40 before Mike Harden can make the tackle. And that seems to be the one play that has worked consistently. The running back underneath, crossing the field. 17 yards on that play.
What we've got is a release up the field with John L. coming right out underneath it, then breaking sharply and losing the man covering him. And it's an excellent throw by Dave Craig. See John up the field. There's a little bit of a screen off. Then he breaks to the outside. He's turned into one of a complete all-around player. I think we've acknowledged that. But his receiving is what he says he enjoys the most.
Well, first down, Seattle trailing 17-7. Last minute and a half of the third quarter. Craig just does elude Scott Davis and gets it off to the tight end Tyler. at the 47-yard line. A gain of about 6, maybe 7. There's Davis from the University of Illinois. The top. That ankle injury just doesn't seem to improve. 50 seconds left. Third quarter. Seattle trailing by 10. John L. Williams gets a block on the corner. Boy, he just takes on those defensive players. A first down at the 42. Mike Haynes, the veteran, is acquired from the Lions. Number 30 gives Williams a breather. Former teammates at Florida. Kurt Warner breaking outside. And finally out of bounds inside the 30. Eddie Anderson made the tackle.
Well, that was vintage Warner, wasn't it? Using his great quickness and explosive movement and then outrunning people to the sideline.
So the third quarter ends on an upbeat for the Seahawks. They're marching at the ENBERG with Bill Walsh. We go to the fourth quarter. AFC Western battle, the Seahawks and the Raiders, and Seattle trailing 17-7. Presented with a first down at the 28 of Los Angeles. And Craig going for 6. First Lewis Clark, and he can't get to it at the 1-yard line. Mike Haynes, the veteran, at one time regarded as one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL, maybe the best on the coverage.
Well, we got a Kurt Warner run. You see an excellent job in here by Tyler, but King is completely fooled to the inside. Now both Mattis and Tyler do an excellent job of blocking, and of course Kurt Warner's instincts takes him right up underneath Tyler's block, then to the outside. So you'd have to say that Ron Mattis and Bob Tyler did an excellent job utilizing Kurt's real talent and instincts.
Those big men, sometimes those linebackers just can't find the ball. They're just looking for the reaction of other players. Warner out of bounds at the 25. Short gain, 2, maybe 3. Zeff Lee there.
Well, obviously a touchdown would make a difference here, but 3 points is vital to get on that board. That leaves Seattle then later in this quarter one more drive to draw even with the Raiders. But they've got to come out of it with 3. That means Dave Craig had better not take a loss here and knock them out of field goal position.
Third down, 7, and it's a long 7. Warner taking a breather. He leads all rushers with 68 yards today. Shotgun Craig. 4 wide receivers. Underneath, wide open, Kane, Tommy Kane to the 6-yard line, first and goal Seattle. And again, the play underneath works for the Hawks.
Beautiful job by Dave Craig. Now Kane makes a fine catch, but Craig's ability to stay up underneath everything is take on that rush. Now this is a nice job coming around this man and losing him. There he goes right up underneath. It was, in a sense, a pick play. Nice job underneath. Well-designed play. But I'd have to say that Dave Craig made the difference there.
Kane's first catch is worthy of 19 yards and first and goal. Warner. Touchdown. That is the first rushing. Kick is good. 14 minutes to go. It's a 3-point game as Warner has scored to cap a very impressive 80-yard. Norm Johnson kicks it off. 17-14 Raiders. Bobby Joe Edmonds earlier this year, an outfielder with the Reading team in the Eastern League, and he tried to hit the ball the way he just got smacked. Downfield, 52, M.L. Johnson posturing after Rusty Tillman sees him make that hit. Tillman, the special teams coach.
Dick, that last touchdown, Tyler, Wilson, Millard, Williams, beautiful job of blocking right over that goal line. It's just a picture-perfect play. Tyler, there's Wilson, there's Williams, and a clean hole for Warner.
Yeah, when you go in untouched, that means that every man met his responsibility. Beautifully drawn, right out of the textbook. Raiders start from their 12. Schrader. Whoa, almost a safety. A flag is down, and the pass caught out of bounds by Fernandez. But a flag rests back at the 1-yard line. And while they sort that out, well, quickly then. No surprise there, holding Raiders.
Each one of these games, no matter how many you see, there'll be an ebb and flow to it. You think one team's dominating and one or two plays will occur and then they'll lose the momentum. And here we are now with Seattle putting the heat on the Raiders.
First down and 16. The ball at the 6. Schrader, he likes to go long at all times. This time underneath to Allen. And Allen is out to the 17-yard line. And Schrader got hurt. Hit as he threw the ball.
He waited to the last instant to throw that ball. He had to wait for the entire play to develop, everyone to drop, then drop the ball to Allen.
You saw him hold his left shoulder 2 games ago. He had a slight separation of the left shoulder. Still played the next week.
Jacob Green to his backside right here. The ball's thrown. Now this is what can do it. This is what they really want. One of the biggest problems with quarterbacks is that after throwing the ball, getting hit and throwing down on a shoulder and elbow. That's how Jim Plunkett was injured.
Schrader stays in, and on second down throws incomplete over Fernandez. And maybe that shoulder was a factor in it. Now, if you're just joining us, we're in the 4th quarter, 13 minutes to go. Raiders leading the Seahawks by 3 in this AFC Western Division battle. Earlier, Denver 3-0 lost at Cleveland its first defeat. So the key here, the winner, Raiders or Seattle, will move within 1 game of the lead at 2-2. San Diego's still in it as they trail by only 6 at Phoenix. Kansas City has lost. Third down and 4. No play. The pass goes to Mueller. But there was a whistle before the ball was snapped. Somebody offside, but was
start,
he?
Number 68 before the snap.
Drawn
5
offside.
yards, still third down.
Bruce Wilkerson pulled Jacob Green across, and the penalty yardage clicks again against the Raiders. So it's third down and 9 at the 12-yard line. This is where you don't want a mistake. Raider eludes the rush. Incomplete. Timmy Ware should have caught the ball. James Jefferson there to break it up.
It looked good when Schrader threw it, but Jefferson exploded right into it.
Jefferson, who signed a big contract, over $1 million, out of the Canadian League, where he played for the last 3 years.
That Jefferson move was an excellent move by the Seahawks organization. I know the 49ers wanted him badly. He was a corner, but they moved him to safety to take advantage of his height and instincts.
Wow, that was close to being blocked by Rod Stevens. Fumble, and then the recovery by Jefferson. And the Seahawks have excellent field position at the Raider 42-yard line. Plenty of fun from him just in the voice alone. One of the great broadcasters, but we all have to go somewhere someday.
I feel so intimidated. He could replace me immediately. Or was it she? I don't know.
Ball at the 42-yard line. Seattle trailing by only 3. Warner straight ahead to the 39-yard line. It's 17-14 in the Coliseum. Look at the sun. Thank you, Bob. Phoenix leading, and here the Raiders by a slim 3, and it's 2nd and 7. Warner outside. And another first down before Tom Benson can get him out of bounds. And Kurt Warner over the 80-yard mark today to lead all rushers.
I believe it was John L. Williams taking Zeph Lee to the ground, just flattening him. And that allowed Kurt to just sprint for it. Here's John L. right here, cutting down Zeph right there. Tremendous power in that hit. Now, to be honest with you, right here, Kurt of a couple years ago, before the knee injury, would have been gone. But still, that great heart is there, and those great instincts are there.
85 yards for Warner and a touchdown. And now another first down at the Raider 31. They're in long field goal range already. Out of the eye. Warner to the 23-yard line, and the gain of about 8 more. Zeph Lee made the tackle.
Well, the momentum has changed. As you can see, here's Benson stepping up, just overrunning the play. Benson's out of it now, and we get a little bit of a hold, but Robinson couldn't stay with it. Now Zeffley finally makes the stop, which he should do, but Benson overran it. Robinson was held by the jersey just for an instant. That gave him the break.
Clark to the right, Blades to the left, second and almost a free down at a yard and a half. John L. Williams gets the first down to the 19-yard line. Bob Golick, whose dad from Cleveland, is here to cheer him on.
His dad was a coach, I believe. He follows everything Bob's done, and really pleased with him coming to the Raiders, and pleased with the kind of football he's playing.
Is he pleased with his hair?
I don't know.
Mr. Golick, who is a Marine, he keeps telling Bob Golick, whose hair is well down over his name on the back of his jersey, how to get a haircut. There it is. Bob says, well, I'll get it styled for you. Here's a man with style. Craig into the flat for Warner. He threw that one away. Benson on the coverage.
That was 10 years of experience right there for Craig. He just simply threw the ball away. Two things you're after here. Naturally, you want to score a touchdown and win the game, but you can't give up the field goal here. You want to make sure, above all, you draw even with the Raiders and then make it a head-to-head battle. So you want the touchdown, but you better not have an interception. And Dave Craig cannot take a sack right here. Can't take it. Knock him out of field goal range. So it's a combination of both, and that's where that 10 years of experience that Dave Craig offers can make the difference.
There's Golick, who has 10 years as well out of Notre Dame. Two men that came from different programs. Notre Dame against Milton.
Milton College.
The Milton Wildcats. There's the fade. Touchdown! Blades. They beat Mike Haynes on the corner.
That's almost an art form. Almost an art form. That throw and that catch.
By Johnson. Jeff Kemp to hold, and it's 21-17. Brian Blades with his 6th catch today. This one for 19 yards. And his 2nd touchdown reception.
Trucks, Mazda. It just feels right. And by United Airlines, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
And here in the Coliseum with just under 10 minutes to go, Norm Johnson's kickoff deep enough that the Raiders take the touchback at the 20. Let's go back to Blades' scoring reception.
Well, first you have a man who's played 14 years and a man who's played just his 2nd. So the speed will show up. Early on, they're even, but by the time they're over the goal line, Haynes is trailing Blades, and of course Dave Craig throws a beautiful shot right up over the top. It's okay, but now look at the difference. 14 years in the league. Mike can't stay with him anymore.
Did knock the ball away, but Blades has brought it in. And now Schrader has to rally his troops, trailing 21-17.
Good protection.
Down the middle and wide open is Fernandez. Wrestled down from behind by Dwayne Harper, but a big gain on first down. 28 yards.
Schrader had all the time he wanted to use that big gun he's got, and he really rolled it in there. Now that is one of the problems Seattle has had, a veteran defensive line, guys that are 28 years of age, Jacob Green 32. They may tire just a little bit, then they lose their pass rush.
Fernandez with 6 catches to match the 6 of Brian Blades. From the 48, deep to Galt. And Willie just didn't get turned around far enough. Double covered, but Galt's speed, there aren't many guys are going to stay with him. And Schrader, he's amazing how many times he can overthrow Galt. That's hard to do.
It's hard to do. They've got the combination they want. And it'll pay off, and it already has for him, but as this year progresses, you'll see 8 or 10 touchdown passes like that to Galt.
Schrader, show you how the Raiders like to go for the long ball. He is averaging 18 yards of completion on the season. 18 of completion. They want to go long ball. Harper knocks Fernandez out of bounds. Or is that Alexander? Alexander this time. Mike Alexander, first-year man from Penn State. Another first down.
The carrying of the ball. When I say the ball's carried, look how it gets to Alexander. It just drives right to him. A lot of quarterbacks, or most in the NFL, or most that have ever played in the NFL, can't get as much velocity on that ball as Schrader does.
Seahawks have scored a couple of touchdowns here in the fourth quarter to rally from 17-7 down. But now it's Schrader at the whip from the 39 of the Seahawks. Flag down. Good catch made underneath. Marcus Allen back in the game, gets that reception, but will it count? Against the Raiders again. And undoubtedly Jeff Bryant and Jacob Green will say,
Holding number 76, offense, 10 yards, still first down.
Steve Wisniewski, the rookie from Penn State, the right guard, guilty of the grab. I really like the talent of this young man, Wisniewski. 6'4", 285. He's got great blocking strength and quickness and intelligence. I think he's going to be a future All-Pro.
He'll be a great one.
He was their first pick, a second rounder in the last draft, 28th man selected. First down and 20. Fernandez out of bounds at the 40-yard line. They got 9 back on that play. Second and 11.
That's
Melvin
good strategy. Just a good, clean shot down the field, going for half of it each time.
Now here's a situation, second and 11, and it goes back to throwing on first down 50% of the time. We're on second and 11 where they expect another pass. You might throw in a run here.
Now you might look to trap inside. Seattle's in an even defense, just splitting those 2 tackles over the guards.
Marcus Allen, the only setback. They send him in the pattern, but they throw to the tight end. Dial. What a catch! Oh my! Boy, that's a definition of great hands. Get bopped by 2 men simultaneously and still make the grab. 25 yards. Bang, bang, and you hang on.
He had both hands on the ball, Dave. Both hands on the ball. He actually had to raise the ball over the tacklers.
First down at the 15-yard line. 7 minutes, 9 seconds left in the fourth quarter. 21-17 Seattle. Schrader to Allen, incomplete. Good defensive play by Vernon Maxwell covering Marcus. Maxwell, who was a second-round pick by the Colts back in '83. Right after the picks were Marino 27th, Darrell Green by Washington 28th, and the Colts took Maxwell.
Look at that lane to throw the ball in that Schrader had. Again, what a catch.
That is a man's catch.
That's why he's playing. They picked him out as a free agent.
Send him to a higher league if he grabs many like that. Second and 10. Hit at the 10 by Maxwell again is Marcus Allen. Oh, check that. Willie Gault this time. And a gain of, well, a short 5. So it'll be third down. It's a tough situation here.
That last play would have been the play to run. The second down play. To trap that middle, you've got someone like Marcus Allen to punch in there on a trap. But now it's really tough. It's tough to call that trap play with this kind of a situation because they need the touchdown. They've got to have the touchdown.
Trailing by 4 points. 4 wide receivers. Good protection. And now the gun incomplete. Fernandez covered well by Patrick Hunter. So the field goal unit comes on. Schrader not at all happy about that result.
Down situation there. A run, a trap or a quarterback draw would have been super. Would have been great. But they're still okay. A great drive.
28-yard field goal is good by Jaeger. It was hit from 45 and then had one blocked from 24, which could play a critical part of the final results. It's a 1-point game. It's coming off wins today. Jay Schrader and the Raiders unable to punch the ball into the end zone, settle for the field goal, and it's 21-20. Schrader glad to be in the AFC West. Why? Because in the NFC East he played the Giants and he has bad nightmares about Lawrence Taylor.
What was it, 3 games, 11 sacks?
It was over 12.5 sacks in 3 games against him. The kickoff down to Jefferson. And he spun down at the 24-yard line. Let's check on other scores. Bob Costas, NFL Live. All right, Bob, that's could be one of the more surprising scores of the day. Here, 21-20, and the Raider fans trying to help their defense. Kurt Warner.
Well, here's where
fumbles, but he was down. No fumble. Ball already whistled dead at the 28-yard line.
Well, here's where John L. Williams, Kurt Warner, that offensive line have to come through. They've got to use that clock and make first downs.
5 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the game. Both teams have all timeouts left.
Seattle needs at least 2 first downs to get field position on the Raiders, or they're going to get in trouble with a field goal.
Second and 7. Craig, good job, and hits his man Lewis Clark, and a first down out of bounds at the 38. But it was Craig's nimble footwork that got him away from the rush of Greg Townsend.
Can you believe Craig signed for a $500 bonus?
What did that come, like 383 and 50 with a
385.62, he said.
Oh, well, I only missed by 1.
First time he flew in an airplane was to fly and meet with the Seahawks. He was signed to be a quarterback arm in camp, so to speak, to sort of save Zorn's arm and save the others, just to be there. People do that every year, and he fought the battle of attrition and now is becoming one of the premier players in the game.
That gives you hope to young players that may not be considered to be outstanding. You can make yourself good and maybe even great. Warner nailed this time by Ricky Hundley. That was a picture tackle by Hundley. He does move to the ball well. 6'2" and 250 pounds, and All-America at the University of Arizona. Late scores, 49ers 4 field goals, now lead by 2 at home against the Rams. San Diego an 8-point lead, and the Giants about to wrap up Dallas and go 4-0. Cowboys 0-4. Second down, 11. 4 minutes 18 left. Greg incomplete, and then caught downfield by Brian Blades. Right through the hands of Robert Tyler, the tight end, and Blades downfield gets the carom in a 15-yard gain.
Well, we say about 20% of football is good fortune or bad fortune. There's bad fortune for the Raiders, believe me. Ball was thrown high. Now that's often an interception. Blades was alert.
Good job by McDaniel trying to pull the ball free, and that's very close to a fumble. Raiders have called timeout. This one may be reviewed.
He knows he's in trouble. He's not sure what's going to happen. I knew when he let that go, I'm sure he thought, uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
Terry McDaniel just trying to wrestle the ball down at the 46 of the Raiders. 3:55 left. John L. Williams. 41-yard line, a gain of 5. And Mike Shanahan's going to spend his timeouts about as early as we've ever seen a coach. It was a time where everyone saved them
until the 2-minute warning and afterwards. Now it's moving into almost up to 4 minutes, and part of that, I think, Bill Walsh, is that 45-second clock. That'll kill you.
You can take 40 seconds at least off the clock without a timeout or going out of bounds or something of that nature. So you can use a lot of that clock at this time of game. I guess Mike just wants to get it over with right now, get as much time as he can when he takes the ball.
Mike Shanahan at 36. You talk about the desire to be a head coach. He said that he always wanted to be a pro football coach. Was a quarterback, small school, Eastern Illinois. And then he basically just went anywhere he could to learn as much as he could about the game. In fact, he recounted to us a story in Chicago. We hitchhiked or drove into Chicago to hear a guy named Bill Walsh talk. And he said, I learned something from Walsh that day, and that was that if you want to be a head coach, and I've always tried to do that. Even walked into Oklahoma, lived in the dormitory, did anything he could just to coach under Barry Switzer. Warner spins away and gets 4 yards when the Raiders had him nailed at the 40, and that may be good enough for a first down. And the clock will run. He wanted to be a graduate assistant at Oklahoma. Switzer said, we've already used up all of those positions. So he said, I went to Oklahoma anyway. Went in the athletes' dormitory. Said I'd done anything. Made my presence known. Showed I had worked hard. And finally Switzer let him hang around the field. And he was good enough that they eventually hired him as that graduate assistant.
Well, like a Lou Holtz, he just was determined to be a football coach and would make any sacrifice to do it. He reminded me that I was 8-24 my first 2 years.
Yeah, he has studied maybe too well.
And Mike Dickett was 11-14. So he says, if you guys can do that, that means it can finally be done, and that's where he stands right now.
Shanahan was 7-9 in his first season here. Kurt Warner over the 100-yard mark now. This veteran from Penn State broke in as a brilliant rookie. In fact, in his first game, remember, against Kansas City, rushed for 207 yards up in the Kingdome. 2 tight ends now on first down, and the Raiders have used their timeouts. Warner gets a yard. Let's check on the other games. Let's go to Bob Costas in New York.
Okay, Dick, with Toronto clinching yesterday, the only thing left at stake, last day of the regular season in baseball, the batting championships. Head-to-head in San Diego, Tony Gwynn went 3 for 4. Will Clark 1 for 4. Gwynn at 336 goes home with his 4th National League batting title. Clark goes to Chicago with his teammates for the playoffs Wednesday at Wrigley. Back to you, Dick.
Thank you, Bob. Tony Gwynn. Boy, what a sweet swing he has. Gwynn, the left-handed hitting outfielder. Boy, those left-handers have an unfair advantage in that game. Will Clark has a chance, though, to get into a World Series. Warner spun down, but a fly goes with it as McDaniel got him around the mask.
Could have been the face mask. But you talk about great coaches, coaches that have sustained their careers. Chuck Knox, to me, Dick, has been one of the great ones of our time, and the impact he's had on the players that have worked with him, the respect they have for him, what he stands for.
5-yard face mask foul, number 36, defense, 5 yards, still second down.
No automatic first down.
Just reach. Oh, he's got it. Now, that could have been a 15. I think the Raiders might have been a little fortunate for 5.
The only man in NFL history to win division titles with 3, the Rams, the Bills, and of course last year with Seattle.
So many people in the profession would like to see him get a shot at a Super Bowl. They really would.
Second down and 5 at the 30-yard line. 21-20, the Seahawks lead. Pressure on the Raiders. They have no more timeouts. John L. Williams hit hard as he gets to the 28, slides into the 27, and it'll be 3rd down and a couple. Ricky Hundley making the hit.
Well, Seattle's got 2 great runners they can give the ball to right here.
3rd down and 2. Now this is a tempting situation if you're a head coach. One, you let the clock run. It's down to 2:20, and actually the Seattle does not need to call a play until the 2-minute warning. So they'll let it roll right on down. 2:08, 2:07, and the Raiders, when we come back after the 2-minute timeout, have to stop Seattle from gaining a first down, or this one is history. And there is the whistle. In Seattle now in the catbird seat, 3rd and 2. Now, we thought of you always as an offensive coach. In a situation like this, if you were on the Raiders sidelines, would you be the guy saying, okay, here's what we look for, you leave that to somebody else?
The Raiders almost have to get into a goal line defense, Dick, to just plug all the gaps and get their linebackers to be ready to go over the top. There's nothing to lose, because if Seattle makes his first down, the game's over. So they're going to have to stop them here and then do it again on 4th down. And of course, if Seattle goes for the field goal, who knows? They have to block it, I guess. They're in trouble, but they're going to have to fill those gaps, go over the top, and hope for the best.
And for Mike Shanahan, he's hoping to get those big defensive plays. And then if the Raiders are successful getting the ball with not much time left, they can't stop it. He used his timeouts earlier. Seattle started impressively for Chuck Knox. Had a 7-0 lead. Looked as if they were going to build it to 14, at least to 10. Had a field goal blocked. And the Raiders in the 2nd quarter took command, got a fumble return for a touchdown to make it 10-7. And then the Raiders had a touchdown in the 3rd period, a bomb to Fernandez, 17-7. But the 4th quarters belong to Seattle. And the draw doesn't work. Benson there to down Craig. And that stops the clock because the quarterback tackled at the 30. But now they can let it run and let that 45-second clock take care of itself. It's 4th down and 5. And Johnson is in to try a field goal. Duck in a final. Giants 30, Dallas 13. Steve Walsh came in late, threw a touchdown pass to Herschel Walker. It was the first time Dallas has scored in the 2nd half all year. The 45-second clock down to 9. And perhaps Seattle will call time as it gets now to 3-2. Yes, that's exactly what they're down to 1. And they wanted to make sure they used all the time they could. Oh, with a timeout, 1:20 to go. Seattle leads by 1. Johnson getting ready for the field goal. We remind you, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Raiders and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, Seattle and Los Angeles. All rights reserved. Johnson, an apparent 48-yard field goal attempt. Remember, he had one blocked from 24 in the first half. This one on its way. It's hooking, and it is good. 48 yards by Johnson, which means that the Raiders have to score a touchdown to win. That one started wide, and like a nice drive, just faded that one to the left, and it's good for Johnson, and it's good for a 4-point advantage.
Liberty Mutual presents the action.
Norm Johnson had the action just right on that one. Started it outside the uprights and brought it in for 48 yards. They wasted 4.5 minutes of the Raiders' time, if you want to look at it from that perspective. And so now Los Angeles without a timeout. And look at that, the Rams, that's just the final in. Mike Lansford, a 27-yard field goal with 1 second left to beat the 49ers 13-12. The Rams are 4-0. San Diego still up by 8, and the Giants have defeated Dallas 30-13.
I think San Diego, Dick, can still come back and have a good year. In fact, both of these teams, I think, have arrived. The Raiders are for real. They're going to have a good year. With everybody healthy.
Plus Denver and Kansas City. It'll be a very competitive West. Bobby Joe Edmonds. Bodies flying, and one of them is his. Down he goes at the 13-yard line. And the Raiders now will have to work on a total hurry-up 1 minute 10-second offense. Tonight, we hope you'll be with us on NBC, The Magical World of Disney, a brand new life starring Barbara Eden and Sister Kate, my two dads, and the Sunday night movie premiere stars Elizabeth Taylor and Mark Harmon in Tennessee Williams' Sweet Bird of Youth. That's tonight on NBC. You'll want to be along.
The Raiders got the arm, Dick. He's got the arm and he's got the speed. So if anybody can get this done, the Raiders can.
4 wide receivers. Seattle playing their deep backs way back. Underneath, and he goes to Mueller, but that'll chew up some time as Eugene Robinson makes the tackle. Quickly to the line of scrimmage come the Raiders.
That's not going to do it. Anything he throws now has got to be 25, 30 yards down the field, or don't even bother.
Or at least to the sidelines so we can stop the clock. Uh-oh, in trouble. The flag down, and Schrader just does elude the safety and throws it away. Jacob Green hawking the Raider quarterback, and the penalty is holding against Los Angeles.
Well, I boldly said Jacob Green would get tired. He's dominating the second half of this game. He's really coming up the field.
The dean of the defense, now 32 years young, Jacob Green.
Holding. Offense. Still second down.
No number, but it's just another in a long list of penalties against the Raiders.
Well, oh, here's the holding, but here's the problem with Green. But the holding will be right here. Yeah, there's a tackle.
It's the 5th holding penalty, and Green very close to nailing Schrader for a safety. Now with 42 seconds left, Schrader in the desperate straits, throwing incomplete. The 35-yard line with 36 seconds to go. And now 4th down for the Raiders.
These are tough times, but it's happened before. One big fluky crazy play could do it. Seattle is so well coached. Tom Catlin does a great job with that defensive group, the entire staff, one of the best coaching staffs in the game, and they're sound in these situations. They've rehearsed them. Everybody knows what to do. They're going to depend on Green primarily to get the heat on.
3rd down and 10, and Schrader goes down at the 2-yard line with flags. Jacob Green comes out of the pile with the ball. Jeff Bryant appeared to make the sack.
Holding. Number 60. Offense. We had grasp and control. The penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
That lends new definition to grasp and control. Is it the sack, or is it number 60, Rory Graves? On Rufus Porter. Porter beats him.
Oh, there's a tackle, high-low tackle.
Kind of fall down in there and hope they don't see your arms wrap around.
Graves has trouble when somebody starts out and comes underneath him. And it's just a matter of exposure and experience to clear that up, or the Raiders are going to have problems. Or they have problems.
I thought that was 4th down, but now 4th down and 21, and 98 yards away from the goal line is Schrader. Lofts it high. Willie Gault down there, and so are the Seahawks, who intercept, and it's Eugene Robinson with his first of the year who pulls the interception, and that high hopes of Mike Shanahan to come into the Coliseum today and pick off a win. He led 17-7, but the Seahawks came back with a big 4th quarter. Schrader trying for the impossible, and it just wasn't to be there.
Well, you talk to the Seattle players, and to a man, they respect Chuck Knox, Tom Flores, the organization. They respect the staff, and Chuck is really a strong, dynamic kind of leader. No question about it. And their emotion and their patience paid off in this game. And I say to you, Dick, that the Raiders aren't out of this thing at all. They're playing better each week.
Now just one play to kneel down for the Seahawks. Terry O'Neill, our coordinating producer of NBC Football. John Gonzalez, our director today. John Francis, our producer. Our thanks to Joe Costanza and company, Messrs. Vazika, Panama, Schneiderman, and Otaki here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, where the Seattle Seahawks go 2-2, and the Raiders fall to 1-3. It was the 4th quarter where Chuck Knox's team was able to win this one in Los Angeles today, and Kurt Warner, the veteran, was the man who made the big plays when it counted.
Taking a look at his right arm, 10 receptions now for J.T. Smith and over the 100-yard mark.
Gentlemen,